And we are so excited to have you here today and with Berkeley. So we just want to welcome class of 2027. And so we are so excited to have you here. I see that y'all are joining from all over the world. I've got lots of places in the chat. Feel free to drop where you are visiting from. And let's get started. My name is Mars Rivas. I'm one of the senior admissions officers here at the program. And then I'll also allow for some introductions in a second, but we just wanted to say congratulations again on the huge accomplishment and welcome. So my name is Mars, Senior Admissions Officer here at the program, and then I am going to pass you over to Janine.
Good morning, everybody. Well, good morning, California time. Good afternoon, good evening, and wherever you are, thank you. We look forward to letting you know more about the program today and answering your questions.
Awesome. And then I'll popcorn you over to Maritzi so she can just introduce herself real quick.
Hello, everyone. Hi, good morning. My name is Maritzi. I am a student affairs and academic advisor, and thank you for joining us today.
Awesome. So now that you had a chance to see the team, so these we're kind of a lot of your front-facing folks. We're the ones that kind of talk to you throughout the admissions process as you are applying, as you're getting in, as you're getting your updates throughout the course of this time. And so today we're going to chat a little bit about our welcome and our overview for UC Berkeley, and then we're going to jump in to your engineering leadership journey here. And then we're also going to allow you some time to interact and to meet with some of your peers here today. And then we'll leave room at the end for a Q&A. And so that way we get a chance to interact and try to answer all your questions and make sure that we've got you prepared for everything that you need. So let's just jump right in. So this is our UC Berkeley by the numbers. And so I'll let you see. I'm sure all of y'all know how prestigious UC Berkeley is and our Institute of Engineering. But these are the numbers that we kind of hold across the board here at Berkeley. And so we've got about 35 Nobel Prize holders. We've got about 33 Faculty MacArthur Fellows. And 121 Olympic gold medalists. So lots of cool things going on here at Berkeley, lots to take pride in. So again, welcome and congratulations on being part of this really, really unique crew. So UC Berkeley, our rankings here are across the board. So we are ranked number one for public U.S. university. We're ranked number two for both, or for all three, I'm sorry, serial founders, for back startups, for back women-led startups, as well as just a startup university overall. So we are ranked number two in the nation. And then we are ranked number four global academic. And that is based off of the U.S. News World Report that I did not put my my what do you call that? My quote there. All right, and so we'll jump into our overview. So first, if you are not, familiar with UC Berkeley, you have to get to know your mascot, and that is Oski. So Oski is a golden bear, and that is representative of California. And so what we say here is "Go Bears!" And then I'm going to pass you over to Maritzi for a little bit of the descriptor for the D-Lab slide.
Thank you, Morris. So D-Lab is also known as Data Lab, is a key resource used by many students. They offer training, consulting, and working groups for those at all levels. They also organize workshops for students, so definitely take advantage of this resource. It's super helpful. And now we'll hand it over to Morris.
Thank you, Maritzi. All righty. So for housing, there are going to be a few options for each of you as individuals when you're here. And so for graduate student housing, we do have access to Albany Village. There are university family student housing. So if you are somebody who has a family and will be moving over here to Berkeley, that might be a good option for you. And then we've got a number of graduate housing options within the area. And so when you click on that new admit resource link that we've provided, that should include all of the information that you need to be able to do the research that you need to be able to figure out what is right for you. And then if some of the graduate student housing isn't, applicable to you, or maybe that's not something that you necessarily feel comfortable with, there are also offsite options as well. Some of the things that you'll have access to here at Berkeley are definitely going to be your recreation and well-being. We definitely care about your mental health. We care about your physical health, and we want to ensure that our students are having access to things that they can utilize to help themselves make it throughout this program. The 1 year is a fast track program, but you do want to take advantage of all of these things. Because you are a student, you have access to a lot of cool things in and around campus, not just the recreation option. But if that is something that is important to you, you'll have a way to get to all of those things. One of the cool things about getting around in the Bay Area is that we have access to all kinds of transit. If you've seen some of these cool rails or some of the cool carts, these are kind of tradition to San Francisco, but they are also specific ways to get around. We have BART, we have all of your rideshare options. Some of the new things to kind of hit the streets recently are Waymos, but everything is within proximity, and you can usually get around the Bay pretty quick and pretty accessible. So some of the life beyond campus. So basically, you're going to have access to all kinds of beautiful views, great weather, great scenery. And one of my favorite things about being here in the Bay is the access to nature and to hiking. I'm actually also from Texas. I saw some of y'all post in there, Austin, I believe. And so that's where I was raised. And so having access to things like nature, hiking, beautiful beaches, these are all things within the area. Some of these hiking trails are right here within walking distance from Berkeley. Some of them you may have to trek to. This one right here is Stonewall. It's a pretty awesome, gnarly hike if you're somebody who likes to be really active and go uphill. This is the Morecambe Rose Garden in Oakland. So that's maybe about a 10-15 minute drive from Berkeley. And then this is Point Reyes. And so you'll have access to all kinds of cool beaches within and around the bay. This is Baker Beach. This is one of the popular ones out in San Francisco. And then this is also a cool little tree scenery, like when you're headed out to Point Reyes. So all of these things are within, I would say, 30 minutes to an hour within the bay. So just some cool things that you have to look forward to. And again, real accessible cities and culture here. We've got a vibrant culture within and around Berkeley. And so you're going to have access to all kinds of cool farmers markets, sporting events, concerts, shows, theaters, art. There's so much cool stuff around the Bay. And so just a few shots of what you can expect when you get here. And then some cool little weekend things that you may have access to for when you're not, deep in the books and when you're not studying and when you're kind of taking a chance to get away from the classroom. Yosemite is right around the way. We also have access to Napa, which is wine country for some of us that really enjoy our good cabs and our good Merlots. And then you also have access to Big Sur, which is this one right over here if you're not familiar. And then we have folks that also jump over to Tahoe. So whether that's in the winter or in the summer, you have access to some really cool, beautiful things that are well within distance if you wanted to get a little weekend getaway. All right, so now for the important stuff. We'll jump into our academics and our program design. So we, as I mentioned earlier, are number 3 overall best engineering school in the nation. And so these are the categories in which all of your programs fall under. So every single department of ours is ranked, which is really, really awesome. And so again, just a really great institute to be a part of. You really are going to not just only be paying for, your experience, but for a really good quality network and things that come with this particular professional program. All right. And so a lot of times students may not always know the distinctions or the difference between the Master of Engineering and the Master of Science. So I'm just going to give you a quick breakdown so that we can ensure that you're also familiar with the program that you are about to take on. So again, the MEng program is a 1 year fast track program. That means that you're going to be responsible for attaining 25 units within this degree. And so it is a professional degree. And then your area of focus is really going to be central to the capstone project. So we're really trying to ensure that you are prepared for your leadership roles and that you're walking out with the experience that you need to be successful within those management roles. And so the difference between that and the MS is essentially like a whole entire year and a thesis. So if you were more interested within the science-based track, that one is going to be about 25 to 50 units, again, approximately a 2 year program. And then that one is more academic focused. So it sort of preps you for that PhD track if that's something that is kind of in your long term. And again, the MS includes the thesis, which is not something that the MEng includes. So just want to make sure that you understand the distinction before you take on the program. All right. And so our mission here is to create inclusive leaders who solve the world's problems through innovation, technology, and collaboration across boundaries. And we truly believe in that. I think we're going to dive into some of the things that you have access to and some of the resources and some of the things that really are truly connected to what UC Berkeley has to offer, and in particular, the Funk Institute. And so we really thrive on this mission. We believe strongly in that, and that's why you're here today, is because you have in some way, shape, or form outlined that you are committed to this mission and this goal. So a lot of the feedback that we've received in terms of surveys and as our partners give us feedback is that these are the things that they're looking for when they go out to hire and when they go out to land folks within their organizations. And so the top three things were the ability to work into a team, your leadership skills, and then your communication skills. And so a lot of times you may have an understanding of the projects and the things that you're working on, but are you able to convey them to other engineers, to other folks within the general population so that we can understand those problems? And can you do that in writing? And so those are the top three skills that folks are looking for whenever they are looking for their leaders. And so we are seeing that these are the things that really show that our professionals, that our students are successful. All right. And so within your journey, your program is going to be broken down into these three different sections. And so you have these three different components that are a part of your degree. So that is your core leadership curriculum. And so a lot of that is going to include your management innovation, your business concepts. All of those are going to be the 8 units that you're going to attain that are specific to the leadership component. And then you're going to have your technical areas of specialization. So this is going to be about 12 units. And you do have the ability to take more. You're not limited to just those 25. If that's something that you decide that you want to add more on, or if there's something that you have a unique maybe interest in an area and you want to see if there's room for that, you do have the ability to do that. But this is where you're going to be strengthening all of the technical skills you need to be able to thrive in the world. And then your integrative capstone project is going to be a total of 5 units, and you're working on that project throughout the duration of your time here. But we also want to make sure that you're matched with the right things and matched with the right group. And then that's where Maritzi comes in, and she uses her skills and her expertise to make sure that folks are lined up in the way that works for them. And then I'm going to toss you back over to Maritzi and kind of let her outline what the schedule looks like.
Thank you, Mars. Hello, everyone. So just a quick note, save the dates. The MEng new student orientation will take place on August 10th, and our engineering leadership bootcamp courses for fall will begin August 12th through the 15th and 18th through the 21st. These classes are pre-semester courses that you are required to take. You will meet every day, no weekends, online and in-person options. And then the spring bootcamp courses will take place on January 5th through the 8th and 12th through the 15th. And these courses will be online early. Next slide. Thank you. Uh, so what does a typical year look like in the MEng program? You are required to take a total of 12 units during your fall semester. As I mentioned, you have to enroll in your fall bootcamp courses, which is Engineering 270A and 270B. 270A is Organizational Behavior and Negotiation for Engineer. And this bootcamp course is really designed to provide students the opportunity to focus in on these skills by examining case studies and surveys. You'll also be taking Engineering 270B, Technology Management and Ethics, and this bootcamp course will expose you to a wide range of managerial approaches. You'll also be required to take your technical electives. And if you have specific questions about your technical electives, please make sure to reach out to your department advisor. In the fall, you'll also enroll in Engineering 295. And so You can basically pick which communication course you would like to enroll in. So, for example, if you want to develop your leadership presence, there will be a specific class section for that. You'll be enrolled in Engineering 270C, Teaming and Project Management. And this course is about 8 weeks long and it starts in September. And um, it starts once you're placed on a capstone team. And of course, you'll be taking Engineering 2296 MA capstone. Um, as I mentioned, as Mars mentioned, it's a total of 5 units, and the capstone staff will be enrolling you behind the scenes in a temporary section until all the teams are matched in early September. And in the fall, you will get credit for 2 units of capstone. So there really is no final grade for the capstone course in the fall semester. It will show as IP, which means basically like in progress. But you will receive a letter grade in the spring semester, and that will count for the 5 units of capstone. And then moving on to the spring semester, again, you will need to take your boot camp courses. You will have a choice of 2 engineering business electives. So there is a menu that students can choose from. Again, you will be required to take your 2 technical elective courses. You will also be enrolled in Engineering 295, which you would be enrolled in with your capstone team. And there's also Engineering 270K, Coaching for High Performing Teams, which is a course you will enroll as a team and will have a dedicated leadership coach that will support you and coach you throughout your capstone project. And I will now hand it over to Mars. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Maritzi. Perfect. So right now, what we're going to do is we are going to take a little time to allow you to get to know your cohort. I know that when we're digital, it makes it a little difficult sometimes to kind of have that interaction. So what we're going to do is I am going to separate you guys into some breakout rooms. And then once we get in there, what I want you to do is go ahead and share your name, talk to each other about where home is for you. Maybe you can share your undergraduate institution and maybe what your degree or area of focus was, why you applied to MEng, and then what department you're in. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate y'all in there, and then we'll give y'all about 10 minutes, and then we'll go from there. Awesome. Welcome back. Welcome back. We're closing out the breakout rooms, and then we're giving folks a few minutes or seconds to return. And then what we're going to do is, as we're welcoming everybody back into the chat or into the call, go ahead and put inside the chat, share some things that you learned about your classmates. Just drop them in there. Did anybody learn anything fun, anything unique? Anybody in your same cohort or same department from those rooms? Go ahead and drop that info in the chat. Awesome. Perfect. We're getting everybody back. It's going to take a little while. There's quite a few of you on the call. But yeah, go ahead and drop that info in the chat and let us know what you learned about your classmates. Um, was there anything cool that stood out to you about your classmate? Nice. Somebody else from the material science. All right. A few people from IEOR. Any same interests for maybe potential like opportunities for like long term? Did anything align in that way? Other folks from other UCs? Okay, cool.
Hmm. Awesome.
One student that currently goes to Berkeley. Nice.
We call those, should that person come for a graduate degree, we call those double bears.
I love that. When I used to work at USC, if we would admit people that were from UCLA, we would call them Brojans because they're like Bruins and Trojans.
Fun.
Cool. Nice. You also met some people that are interested in medical devices post grad. That's what it's all about. Is we're going to make these connections. You're going to be working with each other throughout the duration of the year. And not only that, I think we have a really, really great alumni network, and that really runs very far, very wide, and covers a lot of ground. And so you'd be surprised at how many interactions like this are going to lead to something bigger. Every year we have this really cool alumni happy hour that's typically held at Hard Rock Cafe in the city. And it's right there off of Embarcadero. So you get this really cool, like beautiful view of the water. But then you also get a chance to interact with your current classmates as well as alumni who are also out there doing their own thing. And sometimes they come out to these events for the sole purpose of hiring, connecting. So you have no idea how something like as small as us interacting in a breakout room and having that overlap might actually come full circle about this time next year. So awesome. Thank you all so much for sharing. Thank you so much for taking time to just participate and make it as interactive as possible. Again, I know that's challenging on a computer, but we are excited to try to make it as interactive as possible. Let's see. Alrighty. So what we're going to do now is I am going to have you all participate in a little online scavenger hunt. And if you can, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up the questions on the screen. And so what I want y'all to do is just take a few minutes, about five, to jump over to the New Admit website. You all should have received information about this new website, New Admit website, because it should be how you register to get here. And so what I'm going to have you do is kind of go over that and find some of the information that's on the questions so that we can also make sure that you've got some insight into the institute and what we're doing. I'm going to put the timer on my end. Janine has just dropped the Fung Institute w admit website into the chat. And so go ahead and click on that link in there, and then I am going to pull up the questions. Don't answer anything in the chat yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave up this first set of questions, and then I'm going to give it a couple minutes and see if you can find this information. Maybe like, yeah, maybe a minute. And then after that 60 seconds, I'm going to ask y'all for some answers to these questions, and then we'll jump to the next one. Okay.
Okay, I'm timing it,
All
so.
right. Ready, set, research. Omar. We were going to answer after the minute.
You're
Okay.
already over. You're
It's
already over.
okay. It's okay. Eager beaver. Eager bear. All right, cool. So what I'll ask is feel free to answer in the chat if you have you already responded to your offer of admission. You're welcome to drop that in the chat if you feel comfortable. If you don't, no worries, totally okay. But if you have, give me a thumbs up or you can drop something into the chat, and we're excited to have you. Sweet. I see some thumbs ups come in.
Yes.
Awesome. Yay. Yay.
Oh,
Awesome, Peter. I love that. You accepted an hour ago. Amazing.
yes, I see you in my accept SIR list right now, Peter. You are
Awesome.
nuclear. Yeah.
All right. And then can somebody in the chat drop the site to take the virtual campus tour? And then let's see. Oh, I'm going to let somebody in. All righty. And so if I can have one of you drop which site is for the virtual campus tour. If you're able to drop it in the chat, let me know. Or if you found it, give me a thumbs up.
Okay. Great, Donovan.
Awesome. Oh, too fast. And then what about the link that was for UC Berkeley student housing? Can somebody drop that in the chat? Did you find it? Share it with your classmates.
Kenny, yes, there is going to be a recording. We do have to caption it, so I'm not sure if we can send it right away, because it usually takes a couple minutes, but a couple days. But yes, we are recording it.
Awesome. Thank you, Janine. And thank you, Janae, in the background. Appreciate you. All right. And what's the name of the three career focused affinity groups? Somebody drop those in the chat. And one of your classmates dropped the tour link, and then another one dropped the new admit link. So thank you, Alex, and thank you, Megan. And then if y'all need access to those links, feel free to click them here. You may want to bookmark them as well onto your browser, so that way you can access them quickly. Alrighty, and then what I'm going to do is jump over to the next slide. Alrighty, what are three ways that the career development team can support a student's career exploration? We might not have covered that yet, but we're going to, and it's pretty quick and easy to find. And then a student asked about a group chat for the cohort. Yes, I believe Discord is your link, and it looks like another one of your classmates shared that chat. So feel free to hop in on that if you're ready.
Yeah, I think Chi Chang Yang shared a WhatsApp group. Um, and then Gautam wants to share a Discord link.
Awesome. Thank you.
Lots of different devices you all can use to keep in touch.
When is the MEng program orientation? Does anyone
Oh,
know?
Pranav dropped it in.
Nice.
Yes, you're already.
Oh, okay. I see that there. Awesome. Thank you, Pranav. And then when does the engineering leadership boot camp start for the fall? Yeah. I've
Immediately
got
after.
15, 12, and 11.
It's on the 11th. It's immediately after orientation.
Nice. We're somewhere in that range.
Almost
Um,
it.
and then when does student health insurance plan, which we also call SHIP for short, start for new students? And then for my international students, what's the site that lists the requirements needed to secure a visa? Feel free to drop that in the chat.
So a couple follow-ups. So when does SHIP start for everybody in the fall? Has I don't see anybody drop it in. This is super important too.
Mm.
So if you, let me see. Instead of giving the answer, let me show you all. Let's see. Yes, Durfel. Durfel Terciano, August 1st. So it goes August 1st to July 31st. So that is your one kind of full year. And then I think we also missed the affinity group question about the three affinity group folks. Not about folks answering what the three affinity groups are. Let's see. Megan, in terms of SHIP, yes, there is a way to opt out. So right, if you accept our offer, you can start the process May 1st through July 15th. Let me just confirm that. So they haven't updated for fall 26 yet, but for fall 25, and it usually is the same exact dates, May 1st to July 25th. If you can't make the July 15th deadline, then there is another month that you can request waiver, but there will be a late fee. Um, and again, anybody know about the affinity groups? Let me see. All right, let me find that link and drop it in. Yes,
Thank you,
thank
Donovan.
you. Ben. Yes, and I think that's any back, we've filled any missed questions, so we can move forward to the question 9.
Perfect. So question 9 for the international students. What is the list requirements needed to, or the site that lists the requirements for that? And so I see the affinity leaders and the leadership development, and then the bonus question, just in case y'all need to talk with a current student. I'll give you that one here. That's your student leaders. And then let's see if anybody's posted that site for the student visa yet. Alrighty, I'm gonna jump over just for the sake of time though.
Yes. Here,
And then
I
we'll,
have it.
okay.
So I am dropping in the international. Please, for any international students, it's super important that you always check bio, we call it Berkeley International Office. They are the experts. So if you ask us, we're going to send you over to them because, we don't advise on immigration visa issues, but we have great partners who do. So, um, take it away, Mars.
Awesome. Thank you, Jenny. All right, so now we'll just jump into a little bit of the just touch on capstone experience. We are their presentation is also today, so please make sure that you hop into that. They're going to be on a virtual presentation from 11 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. or 12:30 p.m. So sorry, that was a typo. Pacific Standard Time, so that should be here shortly. And then I am going to allow Maritzi to introduce herself, and then if Jennifer's on the call, feel free to make an introduction.
Hello, yes. So as Mars mentioned, our capstone overview and student team panel will start at 11 a.m. today. So if you haven't registered, please make sure to do so. I've just shared the registration link in the chat. Um, yeah, so in our capstone overview, Dr. Jennifer Mangold, who is our Chief Innovator and Learning Officer, will be giving a presentation where she will discuss what is capstone, how the selection process works, and provide a capstone overview. Um, you will also hear from our current students, and they will be sharing their experience, and you will also have an opportunity to ask questions. Next slide, please. Thank you, Mars. So here's a snapshot of just some of the previous capstone projects. Some of the previous capstone projects focus on solving real-world issues in the above areas. For example, improving finding ways to fight cybercrime or improving traffic at Berkeley. And so capstones are really designed to be interdisciplinary in terms of like what research and technology they use. As we've mentioned, capstone is a degree requirement, so everyone will be on a capstone project. And it's really aimed to provide students with like hands-on experience, and you will be working in groups of 3 to 5 students where, students will be the experts and the project advisors will be leaning on you to work together to problem solve. So I hope you will be joining us later today and we look forward to seeing you there. And I will hand it over to Mars.
Perfect. Thank you, Maritzi. Alrighty, and then for career and development, their presentation is going to be tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So also we want to make sure that you are registered for that event as well, so that you can learn a little bit more about those components of the program. And so this is our career development team. We have Julie McShane, Dione Rivera, and Alicia Mendoc. Do y'all want to introduce yourselves? Or is anybody, I think Dione, you're here on the call. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yes. Good morning and welcome to Berkeley. We'll see you tomorrow for our session about career and some information about last year's cohort went. Julie is here too, and you'll meet Alicia tomorrow.
Awesome. Julie, did you want to introduce yourself or you want to wait till tomorrow?
I could do a quick hello. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here today and tuning into all of our sessions. We're really looking forward to speaking with you tomorrow. We have some great career data, like Deanna said, to share with you. We'll talk more about the affinity group program, networking events, mentorship programs, lots of ways to get connected and make the most of your year in the MEng program. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning.
Awesome. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Dione. Alrighty. And so this is a little bit about what you're going to have access to here as a student at Fung. And so within the program, you're going to be able to develop all of these really awesome skills. And you're going to be able to have access to like critiques of your resume. You'll be able to build your cover letters out. You'll have writing workshops. There's all kinds of access to personal branding. Job search strategies, interview prep, and salary negotiations. And the way that you get access to all of these things within the career development area is through your resources. So a lot of that is going to be based off of one-on-one career coaching. You're going to have a lot of these things embedded into your classroom integration and workshops. And so a lot of these skills you're going to be able to have access to throughout your duration of the year here. And these are how you're going to build this set of skills here. And so with access to these really awesome resources here. And then these are our student ambassadors. And so we did share one of the links inside the chat about our student leaders. So if you do need to make time to meet with the student, or if you have questions about maybe their individual experience, please reference that particular link that we dropped in the chat. And then we've got folks to represent each department. So we have Charisma with bioengineering. We have Ashika with civil and environmental engineering. We have Sinjana with material science engineering. We also have Logan with EECS, that's our electrical engineering and computer science component. We have Ziwa, who is industrial engineering and operations research. We have Sharaf, who's our mechanical engineering rep. And then we have Ashik, also a civil engineering, civil environmental engineering student. So if you have questions or if you have, if you just want some insight on their individual experience, you're welcome to hit that student leader link, and then you can actually have access to their Calendly through there. So feel free to click on either one of those students' page, and then set up a time that is also good for you.
So one quick, what is it, clarification. So the last ambassador on this is Abdul Majid.
Oh,
Uh,
Abdul Majid.
yes.
Oh, I have the name on there. Yeah, you're right. You are so right. I saw my bad typo. Abdul Majid is also one of our
And
student
he's
ambassadors.
in nuclear.
Yeah,
Sorry.
awesome. Thank you so much for that, Janine. My apologies.
Oh, and listen, I can't spell nuclear, so here we are.
Well, thank you for that. Awesome. So that is the end of our presentation. And so what we're going to do is leave room for questions. And so, yeah, basically, as anything comes up, we're going to have a number of us on here. So I've got myself, Janine, and Maritzi, just in case anything is maybe something that the other can answer better than one of us. And yeah, feel free to share. And
Yes.
thank you so much for being here, y'all. Just thank you again. And thank you for sitting with us through this presentation. Welcome again. It's a huge deal that you've been admitted into a graduate program, especially here at Berkeley. So just you should be very, very proud of yourselves. And we hope that we answered some of your questions along the way, but we'll open up the floor for more.
Yes, and there's a couple questions already. Alex, who do we contact for help with CalNet login? So I've been in contact with a couple of students. So this is from our central admissions unit on campus. There seems to be some kind of glitch that they're trying to work through, that is not issuing that next step. CalNet, for CalNet, what is it, activation. I'm checking with them every couple days, so I do apologize. I'm not sure what the problem is, but it looks like it's affecting a subset of folks. So, Alex, if you don't get anything by maybe Friday morning, email that Fung Institute inbox and then I'll keep following up. So I do apologize.
Thank you. And you don't need to apologize. It's not like you did this.
No, if only I could control things. Um,
Janine.
Don't we all feel that way?
yeah. Is it okay? And then this is Asila. Is it possible to work during study as a reader or GSI? I will say we do not recommend that. This is a 2 semester intensive, rigorous program that takes up a lot of your time, especially once capstones are kind of set. That being said, it's up to each person to figure out what their bandwidth is and any appointment of a student, academic student employment would lie on the student to independently search that out and sort that out. Some people do it, but I would say, it's not necessarily ideal because, again, 2 semesters rapid, before you know it, the semester's over. Will there be a yes? When are the MEng boot camp closed? Um,
We got that one already.
okay. Let's see. Do we have the freedom to switch concentrations? So this is a great question, Ryan. Talk to your technical department. So this is a good differentiation to make right now is Fung Institute. We manage and oversee and plan and coordinate the leadership components. So your boot camp, your capstone, and then comprehensive exam, and then the 270K and 295 courses, et cetera, 270s. Anything with any questions about concentrations or technical questions, please refer to your department. I believe the advisor for your department is included in that, like, hey, welcome class of 2027, I believe. If you do not know, you can also go on the Fung Institute website, and let me pull that up. Um, let's see. And there should be a lead there. Sometimes it's staff and like a faculty lead, and sometimes it's just a faculty lead, but that's a good place to start. And let me, oh, I don't know if I can, oh, here it goes. So I'm going to drop that in here. And then how does admission to student housing work? Is it random or first come, first serve? And how likely is it to get? So that again is not managed by us. It's managed by residential services. And I believe it is first come, first serve. But things change, right? Like sometimes people are sure that they're going to come and then situations change. You might not be able to come here anymore. And so same with residency options in terms of housing options, things might open up. So I would go on that website as soon as you have made a decision and then start signing up. And then any questions you can feel free to ask that particular unit on campus. Um, and then Mertzi answered that. Orientation is April. Orientation is August 10th. Is the program strictly 2 semesters or can? Yes, it is strictly 2 semesters. It's a lockstep program with kind of part one, fall, and part two, and then the end. Some departments do allow for a part-time option, but again, that's a technical department question. So feel free to reach out to them and see what is possible. It might be tricky for international students because you'd have to be enrolled in a certain amount and transferring over to the part-time, you pay by the unit. So, one unit is one cost and then 5 units is another cost. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to your technical department and then also reach out or take a look at Berkeley International Office, their website to see what their requirements are for a student visa to remain active. Um, yes, Nathan, I've been in contact with you. That's also been an issue, but I'm following up with grad admissions and then they're following up with the IT people, so apologies. Um, at student housing, if I applied already, when am I gonna hear from them? I don't know. That's best answered by them. So I'm sure they have like an email or some kind of internet online form that you can fill out. Um, Vaktung, I got my accountant like 2 hours ago. So hey, listen, we're working on it. When will the funding packages be issued for admitted students? So we have already allocated the funds on our end, and now it's up to the departments to get those letters out, to get them assigned to you through Slate. That's the admissions portal. So EECs, as I mentioned before, they're a little bit delayed. And actually, they just let me know this morning that because they're only getting them out now, that they are giving a 2-week extension for an SIR for EECs. But all other ones, April 15th is the deadline to accept or decline. And if you accept, you should pay the deposit. If you accept on April 15th, you have, I believe, the deposit becomes available to pay 24 to 48 hours. So if you accept on April 15th, I would give you maybe 3 to 4 days as a grace period. Yes. And then yes. Is there a way to connect with affinity group leaders? Dione shared that. If you were to apply to work as a reader GSI, how could you do so? So again, that would be up to the individual. Let me see, there is a GSI Learning Center on campus. Let me look that up. And so you can look at the resources there. We don't typically, have any involvement in that because, um, it's not really part of our curriculum, but you can take a look there. Is it possible to take electives offered by other departments, say Haas? I believe you can, but I would again just check with your technical department and make sure that you can still complete your requirements without those classes or outside of those classes. Um, is there any way to be able to transfer to the part-time program to be able to work while studying, and what resources are available for financial aid? So again, that is a question for the technical departments. They're the ones that manage the part-time. Unfortunately, well, in terms of financial aid, the part-time program is considered a self-sustaining program, so we are not able to offer financial aid for that program. Um, I applied for the part-time program. Is that still an option for the school year? Maritzi answered yes. So again, follow up with the technical department. When is the first day of instruction? I believe it's August 27th. Let me see. But let me just confirm that. Let's see, academic calendar, and I'll drop that in the chat as well. So first day of instruction is August 26th. The semester officially begins on August 19th. So on August 19th, you will be a bona fide graduate student at Berkeley, and then instruction starts 1 week after that. And when I say bona fide, that means you have the access to the full campus as a student. So it's summer all the way up until August 18th, and then August 19th is fall. Oh, I think I sent that to somebody direct chat, but let me resend it, everybody here. Let's see. Oops, sorry, I got lost in the emails, in the chats. Let's see, can I switch from MEng to MS? Again, please refer to your technical department. The MS has different criteria, so that's up to them to decide. So please reach out to them. For housing, will I be able to get the deposit back once paid if I'm not able to attend? That's something that's managed by the residential affairs department, I believe. So again, reach out to them. Is it possible to defer by a quarter? So we are on the semester cycle, so you can defer max 1 year. And again, this is managed by your technical department. So if you have any questions, please refer to them. Can the boot camp be followed online if we have an internship ending in August to arrive later on campus? So the boot camp, I believe, will have um, on virtual options that, and we'll have a lot of sections. They will be um, live, so you will need to join live. And as I understand, participation is a big part of the grade. Um, but yes, you must, so you can presumably attend boot camp virtually and then arrive on campus by the time classes start. Can the AB 540 NRST exception I believe so, Shruti, the exemption, but you can follow up with Fung Institute at berkeley.edu so that we can confirm. Um, Maritzi shared a weekly a template. Is it possible to change concentrations before starting the program? If you feel like, okay, the concentration I selected at application is no longer what I want to do, then reach out to your technical department and let them know like, as soon as possible so that they have a good count of concentrations. The deposit fee is 1,500, so you should receive that if on your official admissions letter or the letter that the first email you get from us. And we're sending reminders every week or so. Is there a provision for a semester delay? No. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a lockstep program, so there is no replicating the fall and spring. So it's fall and spring married together. Um, is it possible to defer from? No. You cannot defer by one semester. You can only defer by 1 year max. I had some difficulties registering for the MSc department. Okay, so I think I saw this. I don't know if it was you, Penguin. Um, I believe that you might be getting that Zoom error because you may not have an active Zoom account, but please reach out. But I haven't heard her reply yet. Yes, create like register with the Zoom. Yes, yes. And I was wondering when will my official letter so for anything having to do with like admission, that's also managed by the technical departments. They are the ones that engage in the review and make the final recommendations. We kind of get the admits after the fact. So please reach out to if it's mechanical, that's Isabel, um, bioengineering, Joy, civil, Jessica. Eeks, Michael, IOR, Heather, and Erica. And then material science is Amanda Temple and Temple. She just joined as the advisor. And then in mechanical is Isabel, and the nuclear is Joanne. And then is it possible to take a summer ASC position as admitted students for fall? I'm not sure because you're not, I don't know if you can be hired before you are a student on campus. Um, but if you want, you can follow up in the email so we can further investigate. Where can we see so the results of the wait list, I believe we have it on there. Let's see, where is it? F26. Um, the deadline to request is April 24th, and all submissions will receive an update by April 30th. So that is in the request form itself. I accepted the offer yesterday and just got an email about creating a counted account. Is the deposit? Yes, the deposit is 24 to 48 hours after you accept and create your CalNet. I think you have to create your CalNet and then accept or accept and then you 24 to 48 hours after that. And is there an Dione shout out for career visit day session tomorrow? Is there an official way to apply for deferral for 1 year? That is managed by the technical department. So please reach out to one of the advisors I just named, depending on which department you're a part of, and then they'll follow up. And I believe you request it, they either approve it or not approve it. If they approve it, then you still have to SIR. So you still have to submit your statement of intent to register and I believe pay the deposit in order to have that deferral. But again, follow up with your department. And so we're almost at time. I'm going to answer the rest of the questions here. There's only about 2 questions. Intensive 2 week. Are these mandatory courses for all departments? If so, can you please inform me of the start and end date? Yeah, so we've been talking about the boot camp for it's going to be the orientation is August 10th, the boot camp is 11th through the 17th, I believe. It's the rest of that week and then 4 days, not Friday, the next week, I believe. Um and then in terms of fall courses, fall or spring courses, just I dropped the academic calendar. So, classes start the week that classes start and then end the week that classes end. So you can take a look at that calendar. And then another question about possible change concentrations. Again, contact your department advisor and let them know. And last question. Kiran, is there another boot camp in winter break? Yes, there is a boot camp. I believe it's going to be January 4th. It's that next Monday, that week, and then the next week. It's 4 days out of each of those. So it's 2 weeks, but 4 days out of those two each. So yeah, so I think I'm sorry if I jumped in my team to answer all of these things. Uh, okay, one final question. Are all the admits out that are rolling? So are they rolling out? So that's the departments. I believe all are out except for EECS. There are some people that were redirected because they indicated a second choice program. Um, but everything outside of that, it should be done. And yes, so our applicants who fill the grant awarded on a rolling basis, that you will all hear on April 30th. So the last 2 weeks of April are going to be, we hit the ground running and we want to make sure you all know by April 30th, but not before. So, all right. So with that, I want to say thank you so much for all your help, all your attention, and I'll let my colleagues also, say goodbye. Um, Thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you, Janine. Thank you again to each of you. And again, congratulations. We're so excited to welcome you here to UC Berkeley's Fung Institute. Don't forget that in a couple of hours, we also have another session coming up. So if you need that information or if you have not registered yet, let us know so that we can drop that in the chat before you leave. If not, you have access to it on the new Admit website. So stay tuned. That's happening in a couple of hours. So again, thank you, welcome, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you for the rest of this week. And we will be in touch soon. Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Take care. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.
Bye. Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Am I okay to close out?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, everybody. I will leave now too. All right, goodbye.